is sort of the love and light, and Gemma is maternal in a similar way, but mean. And I don't
I think she's kind of love and light.
You're mean. Yeah, she is in her own dark way.
Right.
But I love how the sweetness and the cruelty can just like change on a dime in her character, and I think it's really fascinating, and sort of how her loyalty is like slammed down on certain things and like really lift and open other things is pretty fascinating.
What about you, Bill? If you could play any other character for a day, who would it be?
I think I'd like to play I can't remember his name, unfortunately, but the guy with had his fingers cut off.
Oh, Chucky.
Chucky, yeah. I relate more and more to him and his problems as I get older. There's fewer opportunities. You got to have other outlets. You got to really think about this and
losing things.
Yeah, and I think he's really gotten a plan together, and I like it. Everybody treats him pretty well, and then they kill him, which is going to work out that way anyway. So.
Oh, that's fantastic. What about you, Charlie?
I don't know really. Yeah, no, I couldn't do Theo. I couldn't do Juice. I don't know. Maybe Bobby. He's always he's one of my favorite characters on the show, and I don't know if it's because so much of Boone comes through in that character, but I always just like the way Bobby navigates through this world, and I guess Bobby.
What if you had to look like him, though?
I'm trying. That's my goal every day.
What about you, Ryan?
Kid Bob.
Bill totally took my fucking answer. Really? Totally took my answer.
I would pick Bobby too, if I could choose a character to play. And Bobby. Yeah. Bobby to me is is sort of a conscience of the club. What about you?
I'd want to play the part that what's his name played? Tom Arnold played.
Georgie.
Georgie. Porn King. I see.
And we'll leave it there.
I don't know why.
This from Star in Edinburgh, Texas. Do you feel Edinburgh? Do you feel you've gained the respect from the biker community? And if so, why? Charlie, why don't you field that one first?
I think we have, in a nutshell. I think that, that the storylines we tell are, are the kind of a heightened reality, a heightened version of the reality, but we get away with it because I think it's grounded in a lot of authenticity and a lot of real detail. And I think that you've done, a really fantastic job in kind of negotiating those parallels. But, my experience from everybody that I've come across, obviously there's occasionally, things that people would like to see more of or less of. But on a whole, I think that we really have gained the respect of the biker community.
Kurt spent a very respectable amount of time in a highly respectable manner, letting some of the, people in the community who are high-profile people know that this was going to be more of an homage than an exploitation, and got their blessings and said, I really want to spend time studying this. I want to get this right. I don't ever want to do anything that's just going to be gratuitous. And the sense that I have, and I've been lucky enough to really travel a lot over the last couple of years. Everywhere I go, when they find out I'm in town, the MCs reach out and they want to hang out and they want to express their gratitude. That so I think on balance, the answer is that we've we're more appreciated by the biker community than not appreciated. And there's always going to be, exceptions to the rule. But, on balance, we should be proud of the fact that that they tune in every week and they can't wait to see what we do next.
Yeah. And I've made it a point, and I've said this before in interviews, that I keep the lines of communication open to that world, and regardless of the club or the patch, we're in touch. So if there's a beef, if there's something that they feel we're exploiting or we're doing wrong, there's communication up and down the line, so we're at least aware of that. And if we can, the example I use is that we had originally the guys were wearing shirts with the Sons of Anarchy on them, and the font that we were using, we got words. There was an East Coast club that felt like that was their font, and that it was too similar to what they had on their patches. So I heard that, and we made the adjustment. We changed the font enough to make them happy. We threw away all those shirts, and so it was that kind of stuff. And I think making those gestures and people knowing that we're listening, it just goes a long way. So and yes, it's definitely make believe, and we definitely take tremendous dramatic license. But ultimately we're trying to do the right thing. But this from Bob. What have you learned about yourselves personally from the characters you play on the show? Let's start with Bill.
That I'm just as big an asshole as he is. I think you have to be who the guy is somehow inside you. Otherwise, it doesn't work, and nobody believes what you're doing. So, when the cross-dressing scene comes up, I'm not going to work out too well with that because it's not who he is.
Ryan?
A lot of what Opie does is kind of sit back and watch and take in, and that's something that in my personal life before doing this role was not omnipresent in my own life.
Right.
That's about it.
Yeah. Max?
I think I've gotten to plumb the depths of my own indecisiveness playing Tara. She's, just constantly in conflict and sort of like Opie, observing a lot and also observing herself. And so I feel like that actually is a big part of my nature, and I don't know that I ever was as aware of it as I am now. That aspect of that character is actually not, I don't have to work over hard to really get in there with it. I've learned that, yeah.
Dayton?
Well, I was just thinking that, Gemma is so...
Or Katie?
Did you say me?
I said Dayton, but that's okay.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I thought you said me. Oh, well...
Tell me what I learned about myself.
No, you tell me. You go.
No,
I thought he said me.
I actually learned that I can like people again. I learned that I'm not afraid to, maybe show certain things or, and I can allow myself to go to places that I really want to go to because of your character and stuff. So learn a little bit like that.
Kate?
I think she's facilitated my getting in touch with my own rage, which I guess that's a good thing. I think that she is a person that has so sort of in touch with the violence in her life. I mean, this is a person that has grown up around violence. And, I think that as a woman, sometimes it's always hard to show my own anger, to show my own rage, to show my own, And so I think she's facilitated that. I've been able to be more in touch with that. And I love playing her. I mean, I find it so fascinating to go so dark and to be so terrified and cover it with so much rage, because I find that that's kind of her thing. She doesn't really, in so many ways, she's not. She doesn't ask herself the kind of questions that I would ask myself. So it's been an interesting journey.
What about you?
Well, it's what I learned. I try to say, well, why is this so tough? This should be much easier than it feels. But I've always been a guy who sees too many sides of the argument, whereas Clay only sees one side of the argument. And Clay is really, really clear and really ruthless about what he thinks about everything, almost everything. And that was a tough adjustment for me to make, but